best boxing podcast in the world.
On a mission to be champs since they let me free. Prepare for combat, my adversaries crumble. Face it, I got a reputation for damage. Busters get ready to rumble. They lock me in a cell, have me trapped in a living hell. Though not guilty, I'm still in jail. Brother, I serve my time like a soldier. Maintain composure. My shadow boxing the fight to the death. Busting boulders. Every boxer with a pair of gloves. Best give up love. Here's a man from the makings of a thug. A lethal weapon, mind sharp. And in my heart, there's a wish to shake the world with the flurry of my black fist. Now once a high school dropout, now I'm the $1 million champ. Who's the next to get knocked out?
What's going on, everybody? Another episode of Chief Seats Box Show. As you'll hear my boy JP. JP, what's up, man?
Let's talk some boxing.
Let's do that. I am looking up something really fast while I do because I had some shout-outs that I wanted to do that I had forgot about. But first things first, follow us on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review. You will be the next unofficial sponsor. Now I do this every now and then, and I had forgotten to look for a while, but I want to send a shout-out to the UK. Two reviews that I didn't get to. James Mahoney said we are an amazing U.S.-based boxing show. Of course we are. And then Rockstar 1996 says we're funny as hell. Yes, we are that too. One thing we're not is modest, but that's all right. So you guys are the official, unofficial sponsors of this week's show. James Mahoney, Rockstar 1996. We appreciate you. What you guys have done is made the show more noticeable on the UK side of iTunes. And I have figured a way how to switch that so I can actually find those. Before I could never see them, but there's a trick to change your store. You can't buy nothing off it, but you can change it to actually look. So we appreciate you guys. Be like them on the US side. Give us some rate and reviews, and you will be the next unofficial sponsor. We always shout you out, so we appreciate those guys doing that. What else? Follow or subscribe to the show on the YouTube page. It went up, it went down. Oh, well, whatever. We'll get to it when we get to it. But I still want to do like maybe 5-10 minute things here and there. It'll be kind of fun. You know what? In honor of the UK and in honor of what I think is going to be the most competitive fight this weekend, let's go over there into, I think it has to be in Belfast.
Yes, it is.
Carl Frampton, the I'm going to retire soon guy, against the guy who should be retiring soon in Nonito, Donaire. But I think it's a highly competitive fight because of where they're both at in their career. JP, what you think about this matchup, man?
Dangerous for both fighters. Frampton has the youth. Nonito has the power. I think his skills may be even, they just do different things. So he's got the home field advantage. And Nonito knows he has to probably knock him out to win. So, oh, man. Interesting. My head says Frampton. My heart says Nonito. I'm flipping a coin in my mind right now. Heads, tails. I'm going with Frampton for now. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, see, you think, well, you know what? We know Donaire lost his title, the one he just picked up recently against Magdalena, right? And we know Frampton looked like hell in his last fight. Let's be honest, he looked like shit in his last fight, and so that will actually make you almost edge to the more experienced Donaire. But we have to remember that Nonito is an aging fighter, especially at that side. I mean, this guy made his bones at 112. And he's got to, I don't even know what his age is. He's got to be 33, 34, something like that. Maybe right around there.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the ballpark.
I mean, that's pretty damn old when you started that low. We've seen the signs of aging, and since all the doping stuff is out, he is the only guy, top guy. There's been other guys. He was the first. I think he still does it. The year-round 365. The shit that Floyd told you he was doing, he never did. Nonito's always been that guy. Nonito never gets the credit for it. He was the guy who's actually started this whole getting in true 365 testing. And when you do that, you show your age. You don't have those. You tend not to have those rejuvenation fights. Where man, he hasn't looked that good in 5 years. Yeah, well, a little testosterone will do that for you. Helps reverse the aging process. And so what I think is, as much as it's going to be a fun fight, but as he's aging, he's not throwing as many punches, and he can become left hook happy. And when he comes into that single mindset, he's pretty easy to outbox. Now, the fact that Frampton has not been looking as good kind of tells me that it's going to be a close fight, but you still got to edge to the youth and natural size of Carl Frampton. Naturally, he's just a bigger guy. Nonito's never worn 126 well. He just never has. He's always been soft in the middle at 126. There was a reason he went back to 122 for a while. This has never been his weight. And just the bigger guy, naturally bigger, the younger guy, the strong guy. I'm going to edge Carl Frampton 7-5, 8-4 maybe. But I think early on this could, because Donaire does know that this is it. This is my last shot. And I think he'll fight accordingly. Hopefully he does. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long, boring fight. But I'm going to edge Carl Frampton too. Sometimes you got to turn your heart off and just remember what your eyes have been telling you. And for that, Carl Frampton gets his name back in the mix. We'll see. I don't know, man. I got to be honest. I don't know. He can say he wanted that third Santa Cruz fight, and he's probably going to have to come to the States to get it because
he ain't going to get it.
Because Santa Cruz ain't going over there. I don't give a shit what was said and what was promised. And he'll probably get beaten even worse the third time. I think that fight, from the second half on of the first fight, I thought it started edging back towards. I was one of the few people actually. I thought it started edging towards Santa Cruz the first time. I had him winning wide the second time. I think it's just you kind of starting to see a process with him. Let's be honest. His money fight is the Quigg rematch. So we shall see, and then probably at 130 because it doesn't look like Frampton is eager to make 126 anymore. On the undercard, I think is a interesting fight, not been talked about very much. Zolani Tete fighting Omar Narvaez. This is a good measuring stick. Now Narvaez is a smaller guy, flyweight, super flyweight, now up to bantam. This is a good measuring stick because with Inoue going up to 118, Tete at 118, these may be the two best guys in that division. We already know what Inoue did to Narvaez at 115. Just went through him, I think it was in 3 rounds, just destroyed him. So we're looking for Tete to kind of match something like that because he has even more of an advantage at 118 against Narvaez. And I think there's no doubt that Tete wins. It's all a matter of how. He needs some style points in this one. And I think that's the interesting part of it because you can kind of compare.
Crazy, but he's going to need a second-round knockout, maybe third-round knockout to make it even. But the irony of it is he probably want to get in more work than he got in his last fight. So it's up in the air. Like I do think he needs some style points, too, to make that fight with Inoue pop. So it is what it is. You're going to have to go out there and take what he give you, but you might have to take him out. So I still got Tete on it.
Yeah, he has to have style points, and I'll tell you why, because there's no buzz at bantamweight. Bantamweight, to me, it's like cruiserweight, all right? You can get some great fights. You're starting to get a little bit more size on them, but the emergence of Chocolatito at flyweight and then up to superfly, the superfly cards have pushed that to a marquee weight class. Then you got featherweight up above and junior featherweight at 122, 126, and in the middle there is is bantamweight, and it kind of gets lost. And so yeah, you need some style points because you have to build some anticipation, because most likely he's probably gonna have to end up going to Japan for that fight, unless they can get that on HBO. Which, since HBO has really been putting on shit fights, that is a good fight to try to snag.
For real, like if they don't trust the market, at least put that as a co-main under somebody in America they feel is more marketable. You know what I'm saying? If they can make that fight happen, that's a fight that fans would love to see. Even fans who you consider casual. Inoue, Tete, that's a fight. It's not a boxing match. That's a straight up somebody gonna go home in an ambulance fight. So hopefully they can make it happen.
And if you can hear things, we're always outside. What you hear?
Nature.
Wind blowing. It's Texas. The wind's always blowing. Let's stay in the UK. The return of Amir Khan versus Phil LaGreco. The first fight on ESPN Plus that I will not buy. Well, maybe. I can't say will not, but okay, I won't buy it. Let's just be honest. I will wait until I can find the hack to get it for free. This will not make me buy it. Maybe a free trial. I'll do the Crawford thing maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know about that. Let's be honest. Khan is just hoping to get his name back out there, hoping for big fights. That's all he's looking for. Him and Tony Bellew basically have the same plans. All they're looking for is big money fights. They're not there for legacy. They're not there to prove any points. They're there just to try to sell a big fight. He's looking for a Kell Brook fight finally. If he can get one of the guys at welterweight here in the States, yeah, probably not going to happen. Just stay with Brook. Go up to 154 and fight Brook. Something's got to happen because his time is running short. And this fight is not going to be... This fight will not even live up to the press conference. The press conference will blow this action away. Phil LaGreco, let's just be honest, he's a bum. So he really should get the shit kicked out of him. JP, what say you about the ass whipping that's about to happen?
He should get this shit kicked out of him. But I think he might... This is a trap fight for Khan. Because what Phil LaGreco did, he made Khan too angry. And sometimes angry... Like, Khan can box the brakes off of you. But the one thing he is not equipped to do is fight. So if he got him angry enough to fight, that's really in his advantage. And taking his shots at the wife and all that, I'm sure, I'm going to get in the ring and I'm going to whip his ass. You ain't got the chin for that. So if he's gotten to his pride to the point where he goes in there looking, I'm going to knock him out, then Khan could lose that fight. You know, he plays to all things that's not to his advantage. And the reason I bring it up is because pride. I'm not sure if his pride is going to let him not be able to put that to the side and just wash him in 12 straight rounds by boxing the shit out of him. You know, change camps and everything. So it's like, don't let your anger get you caught.
I would say that he could go in there and try to blow him out, but the first solid punch he takes on the chin, he's not going to go down. Like we said, we've disproved the myth about Khan's chin. He can take a punch here and there, but you catch him clean later on the fight, or you're a much bigger guy, you're going to clean him out. LaGreco is not that guy. So once he gets that one look, oh shit, that kind of hurt. Let me go back to boxing. Yeah. And that's I think he will get hit into the mindset of, okay, now I gotta Maidana his ass.
I hope so, cause in my mind I'm saying to myself, Phil LaGreco is gonna be in the ring hitting him. Oh, you take that just like your wife, and he's just going, oh motherfucker, you know, who's that kickboxer? You bleed like my Lee, like Lord have mercy. Like, cause you could tell Phil LaGreco is that kind of guy that he will say some shit like that.
Your wife took better shots than that.
Yeah, like, it's like, dog, just don't get suckered into this.
Oh,
that's it.
There's really nothing else. I mean, we really don't see a way LaGreco wins unless he catches him lucky, and I just don't think LaGreco's that guy. He's a guy who made his bones taking a really good ass whipping on PBC undercards. Yeah. And what do we say about a guy who looks good in an ass whipping, who looks good in a loss? Look for him to continue that trajectory. I think the biggest card, up top to bottom this weekend, the Showtime card, headlined by my favorite guy, Adrian Broner, versus Jesse Vargas at the Broner weight of 144. This is his second fight at 144. I think this is Vargas' first fight at 144. JP, what do you think about your boy, man?
First of all, his focus is in the wrong place. Why are you arguing with a rapper the week of the fight? He's supposed to be focused on the fighter. Strike one. This is why I say Jesse Vargas is going to win the fight, because this lets me know you're not focused. Yo, this is first of all, you're not at either weight that you're supposed to be. You headlining the card. This is some straight up Canelo shit right now. It's just what it is. And you concerned about a rapper. Most rappers can't fight. Why are you fighting a guy that can whoop your ass? I've seen this play out before. And it didn't play out well for AB. So I don't think he's going to win. It just is what it is. Like, didn't he... I might be mistaken, but wasn't his focus a little bit off when he fought Mikey? Wasn't his focus a little bit off when he fought Porter in that loss? He came to the ring dancing. That's what people remember about the Maidana fight. He wasn't taking, like, oh, he's not really taking it seriously. Now, he could take his job seriously, but the fact that this weight stuff says you don't take it as serious as you should. So it's like you're not focused on the right thing. All goes all the way back to those 24/7s with Floyd when he was like, dog, you rapping, you looking fat, you looking out of shape. Like, what you doing? Like, all this getting on in the media talking, taking shots at promotional companies. You do that after you win. You don't do that before you win. And this lets me know you ain't ready to win. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think we can just officially put it on there that AB is about beatings. He's going to take another one. He's just not that good. And while I don't think Vargas is a world beater, I would still put him as definitely a legit top 10 welterweight, though. Now, that doesn't say much because I think welterweight is the most overrated division in boxing. It's not deep. It's 3 people deep, and it's everybody else. Fuck you if you think Danny Garcia is a top welterweight. He's not. Sean Porter has proven not to be a top middle welterweight. These guys are a level below. And I'm about to put Keith Thurman's ass off that list of the top 3. He like we said, he moved from 1 to 3 without ever losing a fight. Because I don't care if Terrence Crawford hasn't fought yet fully at 147. He will beat this shit out of Keith Thurman. The kind of bullshit that Keith Thurman is on. He's definitely not focused on fighting. And so, like, I went to that diatribe just to kind of put Vargas is in that realm of that second tier of guys at 147, and that's good enough to beat a guy like Broner. Broner he's a guy who goes into fat camp. He just goes in to lose weight to make weight. He definitely doesn't live by, if you're always in shape, you don't have to get in shape, right? Yeah. If you're always ready, if you're always training to be ready, you're always ready. No, he's not that guy. He has to take his time to get down to that weight, so he's not really working on skills. And this is why his game has never evolved. You know, he was a guy who, what people like to call now weight bullies. He beat everybody who he was bigger than. Right. Once that went away, we saw where his level was. It was a loss to Maidana. It was a loss to Porter. It was a loss to Mikey Garcia. It was a nail-biting fight with Emmanuel Taylor. It was a nail-biting fight with Adrian Granados. This is who he is. That's his level of fight. He's just a guy now. He has a name. He built his name off of bullshit, off of videos that I'll never ever see. I know that there was that thing with that rapper, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I can't hit play. I can't even look at that. It was just looking at that guy, or whatever whatever that thing is that was on my screen. If you, like you said, if you're worried about that bullshit, there's no way you're focusing on that fight. And Broner is not good enough to be unfocused and win a fight like this. He has to be 100% focused to actually just eke out a close decision, and he's not that, and he never will be. You know, if I have to hear more of these so-called experts and professional boxers, well, when AB is serious, when he comes in focus, when was that? Tell me when that was. What you're basing your opinion off of? You're basing your opinion off when he was a bigger dude at 130 and 135. You're not basing it off anything else he's ever done. That's at least 5 to 6 years ago.
I'm trying to think of another athlete that you would always say had potential, but they never had consistency. And that's what he is. Like, but potential doesn't mean shit. And even though he's got a great resume, like as far as boxers concerned, not great resume of fighters that he beat, but the champions, that part you can't take away from him. But at the same time, it's like you stagnant. And you stagnant because you don't make weight. Like, people forget, okay, the Maidana thing, that's when he jumped up 2 weight classes. Was it?
Well,
he was at 40. He was at 40.
No, he jumped to 2, went to fight
to Paulie. And then
that was his first
there.
defense. That was his first defense.
Right. So he jumped 2 weight classes because he went from 35 to 47. Now, this is my issue with it. I said it then. Should have just went to 40. So now, when he fought, when he lost to Porter,
Remember it was 144.
Right. He tried to drain Porter down. And then he when he lost to Mikey, it was a weight clause. So you're right about the fact you're never going to be the best fighter you can be because you never can hone your skills because you never have a weight to hone your skills at. You never have a body to get used to working with. And that's going to always be a problem. Cuz now you down to the basics that you can work with for the body that you wind up training to get by fight night. And no matter what people say, you could be a great fighter. You could be a great athlete when you're young doing that. You can't be a great athlete and man, you know what? That's okay, Des Bryant. Not years ago people say, Des Bryant, you're talented, but you need to polish your game. You're only running certain routes and you're going to get older and people are going to figure you out. And what happened? He got older, people figured him out. It's the same exact thing. And now he's mad that people are exploiting the fact that they figured him out. Well, you need to work on something. You don't let your hands go. And by no means, like Jesse Vargas, okay, you could say his best showing of his career was almost knocking out Timothy Bradley in the 12th.
The Ali knockout.
In the Ali knockout. It's just like, okay, so nowhere close to nowhere near as good as Bradley was. And you may be a little bit better than Ali.
No, he beat Cotto, so.
Well, when he beat Cotto,
yeah.
But it's just saying, it's like...
well, let's put it like this. Jesse Vargas has been in with a much more elite class of fighter, just off the basis of Bradley and Pacquiao.
Right.
And so there's nothing at all that Broner's going to show him that's even going to, I think, phase him. I don't think he can hurt him. He's definitely not going to throw as much punches. He's not active enough. He's a guy who throws minimal punches at best. He throws less punches than a heavyweight anymore, and that's just a fact. And you're not going to beat a guy like Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas is going to be on you. He's a guy who's going to be trying to be in your face, and he's just going to swarm you. And that is the antidote for Broner at any point. That's the reason that people still think that Ponce de Leon beat him. That style he has never been really successful with. Granados gave him hell with that style. Yeah. He's not equipped for that come forward in your face style. Vargas will just keep on punching, just keep on coming at him. Just like he did against Bradley. He kept on coming till he finally clipped him in the 12th. Well, he never got that chance with Pacquiao because Pacquiao just shut his ass out. But that's a different level of fighter. So, I mean, it unless something fishy happens with this fight, I really don't see a way that Broner beats him. Broner is not a better fighter than Jesse Vargas at this point in his career. He just hasn't been, And you have to go back to when he was at 30 and 35 to even try to find a time when maybe he was. Because he never has been above 135. 140, he has been 140, 147. He's been average at best.
I mean, you know what? Enough of him. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
On the undercard, Jamal Charlo, his best friend, by the way. He loves Broner, loves Tank Davis. Fighting Hugo Centeno. This is I think a final eliminator. And get something like that, some shit like that.
Well, I know who's gonna get eliminated.
Well, this is the one thing you gotta know about Centeno, right? Who's the guy that Danny Jacobs is fighting? Salik,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck that dude's name is. Yeah, well, that guy knocked out Centeno. So there you go. And everybody thinks that guy's a bum, that Jacobs is fighting. So what do you think Jamal Charlo's going to do? Win. My bad. Win what? Win.
I think he's going to knock him out somewhere in between the national anthem and the bell ringing for the first round. It is over already. And you got to remember, like, for those who don't know, if you look up the Charlo brothers, just look how they talk. They talk like they ready to kick your ass. You know what's going to happen? You know, they're going to show up to the ring like they're ready to kick your ass. And then when they're going to get in the ring, they're going to kick your ass. So this is a formality to what happens before you get your ass kicked. That's pretty much it. And expect to hear a lot of people get called out after this knockout. You know what? Matter of fact, if it's early, like if it's like a first round knockout, expect for him to say, you know what, should I fight Triple G next month? Shit, this wasn't nothing. I know.
It's not even next month. It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, it's just a matter of when. It's probably going to be somewhere between rounds 2 and rounds 4. That's about as far as I see this fight go. And like I talked about this when I did one of my own, and I was talking about Jamal was he with those videos that he was making, he's kind of crossing that line almost to me to where it's becoming gimmicky and it doesn't feel as genuine. You know, he can think he's a street guy. He's not a street guy.
You know who put the plug on it? Errol Spence. Because I was in an interview with Earl. He said, you know, because they all hang out and stuff. He said, yeah, they just, you know, they good people. It's just they got things like he said they watch everything said about them on Twitter.
Oh yes, they do.
They watch. They look at every interview and they can't wait to tell you what the fuck you said about them. So it's like he said they just don't let it go. So for me it's like, no, I think they pissed. I think they took it personal and they use it as they fire. Like petty like Michael Jordan. If anybody knows about Michael Jordan's past, how he was kicking people's ass in the NBA, he was petty. If you said anything about Mike, if Jesus talked about Mike, he would go off on him because he was petty. I ain't mad at it though.
No, and what I'm talking about gimmicky is when he's talking about going to Baltimore, you know, Tank, and I'm from H. You ain't no gangster, bro. You're not. We know where you grew up. We know dudes who went to school with you. That is, you know, that's true. We were talking about this with them a while back.
Okay, hold up.
You know who that was at work?
Hold up.
The guy you call LeBron.
Listen, I'm gonna explain this. Baltimore has a different set of rules. I got friends from Houston that moved to the DMV, and I had to explain to them, don't do none of the shit that you would do in Houston and Baltimore, you get shot. So, y'all tough. I give you that. Y'all champions. I give you that. Yeah. Y'all are great fighters. I give you that. Do not take your ass in the streets in Baltimore.
That's what I'm saying. That's the gimmicky part of it. And like I was saying, we got a guy at work, went to school with them. Like, yeah, they have the attitude, but they're not street guys. They were gym guys. They were working on this back in high school. They didn't have time for all that shit. Some of them are. Some of them do the street thing. Look, Broner's done the street thing. That's been proven.
He's not even a street guy.
Yeah. Fernando Vargas back in the day was a street guy. If you guys don't know that La Colonia on the front was actually the name of their gang and not just the gym. But there have been people who have been like, that's what I'm saying. Because when I know that it's not who you are, then it's gimmicky to me. I don't believe it anymore. Now, if you're talking about whipping people's asses in the ring, I believe that because I've seen that with my eyes. And that's what I was talking about, where when these guys get into that wrestler gimmicky shit, it has to be believable. If it's believable, it sells. If it doesn't, it just comes off as hokey.
I'm gonna explain something to people who have been like the how real street guys come off in demeanor. As you can see, Bernard Hopkins is a street guy. Like
No.
he got the history to back it up. But but by the way he carries himself, he's calm, but he's Andre Ward could have been a street guy if he had wanted to. He came up hard like that, but he chose boxing. I would even say Mikey Garcia could have been a street guy because he's calm, but it's something about him that you're like, this dude is a killer. That is more so what street guys act like. They're not really that, and at best, Roy Jones. At best, because he'll talk it, but sometimes he just wouldn't talk. He's like, I'm gonna see you. When I see you, I'm gonna see you. So a lot of the real rah-rah, that's not street. That's just television talk for rating. Some guys are just got thin skin and they sensitive. You got to remember, people love Ali's mouth. Sonny Liston was a street dude.
Yeah.
It's you see how they talk completely differently. So that's what I'm,
Yeah. And that was my whole point.
Mike Tyson, street dude.
Yeah,
But
street.
you notice he at a certain point Mike just stopped talking and shit just went completely left. But he didn't care to bring the streets to the podium. Like say something else.
Ask Mitch Green about that. Ask Mitch Green about the streets. So I love the Charlos. I love what they've done. I love what they've become. I love that people actually they went from guys who everybody was like, I could do without the Charlos. They're boring to me. No, but when they were coming out, there was a point. There was a point. There was a point when I was on Jamal, like, man, Jamel, like, you got to stop looking. You got to stop looking for that perfect punch and just fight. And once he did that, and I said the physiological, identical brother of his shows you that he has power. So he's always had that power. He just never used it. And once they started knocking motherfuckers out and then talking the trash, now people are. You would think that would turn people off. Nope. Turn people on. Like, oh shit, now I gotta see these motherfuckers. So let's just keep it in. Let's keep it in the ring part of it. Keep that street stuff out. Don't fall into the. You don't want to be the Broner or the soon-to-be Broner Tank Davis.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
And this might be why they're doing this, but this is a caveat. Because they're on social media so much, and the way society acts right now, everybody's running their fucking mouth on social media, that sometimes to be relevant, you got to be the loudest person talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in reality, they act no differently than Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, he's an asshole, and I hate him. So.
You're right, but it's the same thing. Like it just, So.
But it's the way, if you talk it and you back it up,
it's different.
People respect it. There's a reason that people, I don't know why they would fall for it, but they always hated Floyd. Because in the interviews, I'm going to knock him out. No, you're not. You're going to pity pat him, catch him with the straight right like you do, and you're going to go to a points victory. And that's why people hated it, because you never backed up your talk. Your talk was never, I'm going to win. It was, I'm going to knock you out. The knockout was always coming.
It's still coming. It's coming.
His knockouts are
Conor McGregor counts.
Yeah, Conor McGregor. It counts. I guess. You know how many professional wins Conor McGregor has? Same as you and me.
You know how many losses he has? He has one in his whole career.
He has one more than me. If you guys forgot, we both picked Charlo by knockout.
Absolutely.
The third fight, Tank Davis, Gervonta Davis versus Jesus Cuellar. it's
Interesting.
it's a good fight. I'm not gonna say that it's a bad fight. Cuellar supposedly is fat. Cuellar is also a guy who's coming up from 126 and is fat at 130, so that's not a good thing. For all of Tank Davis's downfalls, the one thing he has is a punch, and the one thing he can do is knock motherfuckers out, especially at 130. He is very Broner-esque at that weight, where Broner was knocking everybody out at 130, even 135. You know, and this is what we were talking about. And I'm still interested. As much as Cuellar has been talking about being fat, my question is, how is Tank going to come in at the weigh-in? Because 2 fights in a row, he missed weight. You know, he made it on the third attempt 2 fights ago. The last one, he didn't even attempt it. So, because it's going to be in his best interest to make this weight and to stay at this weight. Because 135, he's not built for. And him and Floyd aren't the best of friends. And that's why you've seen Floyd say, I'm already in talks with Lomachenko's people, because he's like, it's almost like he's thinking, this guy needs a beating to straighten his ass out.
Here's the thing. How can I say this properly? If he wins this fight, which I think he will, you might as well just fight Tevin Farmer. That's a built-in trash-talking fight that's already in the mix. Now, him going with Floyd, I still don't understand it, because Floyd pretty much did everything he said he was going to do with you. So now you're coming across as if it was a setup. So if he told you when I first met you, I said, I'm going to get you a title fight within a year or a year's time, and he got you a title fight, when you got to the fight, you felt like it was a setup? You know, it's like, but you knew it was coming a year in advance. You know what I'm saying? This Lomachenko, this could be a setup fight. He could, yeah, because Lomachenko's a beast with it right now. But at the same time, this is actually a prime time to catch Lomachenko if you're a fighter. You know, because if you can win, that's a great upset that propels you into superstardom. If you keep it close, then they going to say, what? Man, in a couple years, he going to be a beast with it. Because remember how Lomachenko couldn't even run through him. So it's really a win-win fight. So I'm like, what the fuck are you crying about? You know, is it his? He put you on one of the. Okay, he put him on one of the highest pay-per-view ever. Second? Yeah, we got you. I'm bugging. But second highest pay-per-view ever. He got you a title fight. You lost your title on the scales. None of that is his fault. I could get y'all beef. I mean, from what I've seen, it's something that's not really involved, that ain't really about boxing. And it ain't really about business. But I'm going to keep my mouth shut from what I've seen. And if that's true, that's your fault too. So,
well, especially at 130, I think Tank is definitely a better fighter than at this point Abner Mares is at 126. And I thought Mares won that fight against Cuellar. So I see Tank dominating. Like I said, he's still a beast at 130. Don't be surprised if they don't make the weight, but the fight will still go on. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. This fight will go on one way or the other, even though it's supposed to be for an interim title. Whatever. That hasn't stopped Gervonta yet. So I see him just wearing Cuellar down. And if Cuellar's coming in fat camp, that means by the 7th, 8th round, he's going to be dog tired, and he's going to get knocked out somewhere around round 8, 9. Tank Davis will stop him. I don't think there's that much.
I think he wins the fight. I think he wins the fight easily and in spectacular fashion, because he's a good, awkward fighter. Mm-hmm. Good, young, and awkward. But for the long term, you got to get that weight in check. Like, the only person that's really that you can say, even on this card, it's only 2 people that came to do their job on this card: Jesse Vargas and Charlo. Mm-hmm. Everybody else it's an influx. You know, you're like, I don't know. You know, so that's the good and the bad about this card. Good names, probably good entertaining fights, but only 2 people I would consider professionals at this point, and that's those 2.
Like your boy JoJo finally got his fight signed up. He's gonna fight. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy. He fights rarely, but you might have heard of him. Gary Russell Jr. Supposed to be, what is it? What May? Is it May 25th? May 25th, right? It's the same day as the Badu Jack Adonis Stevenson fight. Gonna be split site. 26, some shit like that. Whatever. It's right that weekend. Just early on, what do you think, man? Because JoJo has actually been elevating his game, and the one thing we know about Gary Russell is he is not, because he doesn't fight. This is a fight that I definitely have always edged Gary Russell. Speed wise, he's a beast, man. At his best, he is a monster at 126, man. He really is. There's no way around it. But it's hard to take him serious because the motherfucker never fights.
Right now, this is a 50-50 fight because of inactivity. You know, Gary Russell Jr. is a beast with it. Maybe his hands have healed from all this rest. Who knows? But inactivity can get you. And the reason it's 50-50 on the other side is because if you look at Jojo Diaz, maybe the last 5-6 fights, he's really honed in on different things. So in the last 2 years, he can literally switch his fight in the middle of the fight to get a different response. So that's dangerous for somebody like Gary Russell, because Gary Russell might just get into his groove, and if it's not working for JoJo like, well, it's not working in this fight, but I know from this fight I could probably fight like this and see where this goes. So this is really a 50-50 fight, because that's more so in JoJo's favor, really, because he can do more and he's been more active. Is Gary Russell, you would consider probably on paper the better fighter, and he had the better competition, and he's the champ. But that inactivity, man, that inactivity is a mother. You know, so.
And the hunger is definitely on Diaz's side. That hunger is there because he's been seeking out this Russell fight. And you can look at the champions at 126. Russell is not the easiest out, and yet he's still been looking for that fight. Says a lot for him. So he's extremely confident going in it. Like you were talking about, the layers to the game. I think people underestimate. It's because they see a Mexican fighter, right? And they don't Jose Ramirez, they don't see that maybe they got more. Now, not saying that they're fucking tacticians, but they have layers to their game. They discount that Olympic pedigree that they actually do have. And they kind of see them as one-dimensional, not realizing, oh, you know what? They do have a couple of layers to their game. They have things wrinkles that they can throw at you. And let's be honest, Russell didn't handle those wrinkles very well when it came to Lomachenko. Now, that's a totally different level of fighter. But with the inactivity and the hunger on Diaz's side, where was really leaning Russell, say 6-8 months ago, even a year ago, because you knew this was the collision course, you kind of start to talk yourself into Diaz winning this fight. Don't know. I really don't know who I'm going to go with at this point. And that is, to me, is a sign of a good fight, because I don't know who I'm going to pick. As much as I think that the Jack Stevenson fight's going to go good, I already know who I was going to pick. I knew when that fight was signed who I was picking. You know?
This is a great, it's like, now one thing you don't have to worry about Gary Russell is being in shape. He stays in shape.
You have to give him credit. For never being in the ring, he always makes weight.
Right, exactly. He stays in shape. He comes from a boxing family. It's 97 Gary Russell's boxing, so they working. You know, you can never take that away from him. It's just, but inactivity, it's scary, man. And they both, true be told, they're both Olympic fighters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, this fight, that might be a wash because they both know that style. It's the other stuff that you got to see in the other person's game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's funny because I think, my point was a guy like a Russell, a guy like Lomachenko, a guy like Errol Spence, they get the credit for that Olympic pedigree, no matter if they won a medal or not. Where guys like Diaz and Valdez and Ramirez, they don't seem to get that credit for having that amateur pedigree.
They didn't like. You remember I saw him very early.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, this dude's a."
Well, the reason I went back to Ramirez and Diaz because those were our guys.
Yeah.
You were JoJo like fight 2, and I was Ramirez fight 2. Like, oh, those are our dudes right there, man.
So, if you watched him early, you know he is fresh out of that farm.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the moves and the footwork, the speed, the combinations. He got all that, and like, you know what's gonna make this fight great and interesting? They both have to be in the pocket in a sense because they both got short arms. Mm-hmm. So they gotta be in range. This is gonna be a fight where somebody's gonna take over because they both gotta be in each other's wheelhouse. It might be more so a battle of wheels at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where your edge goes to Diaz because he seems to be a guy who is more determined. Because Russell's already got the title; he's already been there. There's no hunger like the hunger to get to the top. That's what separates good fighters from great fighters. Is can that hunger stay once they get to the mountaintop? This is where Tyson Fury fell, and others have fell. Once they got that crown, that edge was taken off of them.
That is true, but I forgot one thing about Gary. Depends on how he uses this. I remember him distinctly saying, if I fight Lomachenko again, I'm going to whoop his ass. So I mean, he's been working on stuff. But the problem is, are you looking past your opponent and you've been inactive? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's was going to be seen that night of the fight.
And the fact that, like you said, he never fights, makes weight. Even a guy like Margarito, who never fought for how many years, made the same weight that he left off on. That's why I never have any sympathy for these guys who can't make weight. I have zero. You don't make weight? That's on you, man. I tried my best. No, you didn't. Otherwise, you'd have made your weight. I did everything I could. That was when, who said that? I think it was, why can't I think of the Jamaican guy?
Glenn Johnson?
No. Walter.
Nicholas
Walters. When he missed weight, I did everything I could. No. Yeah, otherwise you'd have made the weight. Yeah, where's he been?
You know what happened?
No, he was on that undercard. I think he was on that last undercard of Jose Ramirez. But I have zero. When guys who can be out of the ring that long and always make weight, that just means they're staying in shape. They don't have to get in shape when you stay in shape, you know? That's what I'm saying. That's just one of my pet peeves. And like, not like they're never allowed to. It's just like, if you don't just own up to it and say, you know what, I didn't do my job, I should have made weight, then you respect it. But I hate when people make the excuses. Well, it was this. Oh, I got sick last week. And stop.
Like, you don't have to. For people who don't realize, like, as long as you in the wheelhouse of your weight, it's gonna come off and you can be back to business. Like, I forgot if it was Jamel or Jamal. He was sitting there maybe a month ago doing an interview, and they asked him about his weight. That dude stood up, lifted up his shirt. I don't play that. I'm ready. So that's how you would think most fighters are. They're like, look, man, I'm going to get that call. I'm going to be ready. Mm-hmm. Because as a fan, some people like, they care, they don't. But here's the thing. Boxing is not necessarily a sport. In some ways, you can be fighting for your life. So the best thing you need to do for yourself is be in the best shape of your life to make sure you can survive. Not just win, but make sure you survive. And when you're not taking your weight serious, you might not be taking your health serious because somebody is coming in to hurt you. Like that's, that for me is the pet peeve of it. Because you gotta, you could die in a ring. And would you really want to leave your family and friends behind because you wanted to eat 6 extra burgers and you wasn't taking it seriously? No. It's bullshit.
That's my job, to eat 6 extra burgers. All right, we're going to cut it off there. And we got a full show in for once. It's been a while. Almost the hour. All right, guys, you know how we do. Follow the show on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review, Apple Podcasts, rate, review. You'll be the next unofficial sponsor, like our guys over in the UK, James Mahoney and Rockstar 1996. We appreciate you guys taking the time out. Much love to you guys, all our UK listeners. And the UK listeners, keep on doing it. If you do it, hit me up on Twitter, and I will definitely, because I don't always look it up. Like, this has been a month and a half ago on one of them, and the other one was like just recently. So hit me up. Let me know you did it. I appreciate anybody who does that. Subscribe to the show on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. And you can email us, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. JP, is there anything else?
One thing before I say that. And the UK-USA Wilder Joshua Twitter war has begun.
Yes.
Okay, now this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate.
And we do it just like you for the cheap seats, because we ain't buying no tickets, goddammit. Peace.
Believe that I'll never be shamed again. Again, I'll be the next heavyweight champion. Call me crazy, but no one can fake